These are Westcott Pro Light mods, and with them, you can create dynamic athletic and sports portraits like these. I'm gonna take you through exactly how to do it. What's up, friends? My name is Pi. Welcome to SLR Lounge. You know me, I like to get straight into this. I'm gonna break this video up into 3 pieces. So we're gonna go step by step. Let's start with step 1, just setting up the background lights. Now I have this already set up, but I'm gonna take you through the exact process. It does take a little bit of time, so I don't want to bore you here, but let's go ahead and just talk about the background lights first. First, I have 2 Westcott FJ400s placed onto black C-stands. The reason I'm using black is so they don't show up in the actual photographs. And Westcott actually has some really great stands as well at a great price point. The only thing is I need to get these lights low because for this particular shoot, we're gonna be shooting youth athletes and they're gonna be a bit shorter, okay? So I have them placed kind of reversed and lowered. On top of each of these FJ400s is the Rapid Box. This is a 3-foot by 4-foot softbox. So I just have 2 softboxes. They're both placed at an identical height. And then over the top of them, we have the Westcott Pro Light mod. And what we essentially have here is just this black gobo with perfect circles cut out that you place over the softbox. Now, one thing, when you're setting this up, this is a Velcro-based kind of system. So what you wanna do is actually set up the softbox in the orientation that you want it, and then you're gonna go ahead and start attaching that gobo, the Pro Light mod, directly over the top of it, making sure that you seal and are careful through the edges. So with this setup, now I'm gonna go ahead and dial in my settings. So what we're gonna do is go to step 2. I'm gonna show you kind of positioning. We're gonna talk camera settings and what I wanna do in terms of power, as well as we'll talk a little bit of fog machine. I'm using my workhorse camera. It's the Canon R5, and I've paired it with the 2870 lens. Use any camera and lens combo that you'd like. Also on top, I have the FJ-X2 remote. There's actually a new version of this too, which is super awesome. We'll use that in the next shoot. But it's just a very simple, easy to use remote from Westcott. And I'm gonna go ahead and just bring my subject in. So today, I have my teenager. It's a little bit insane to say that. This is Ethan. Ethan's gonna be helping me out in his basketball attire. So Bud, you're gonna stand right here. And right now I need your guys' help on something, debating how much to pay him to model for me. Is it gonna be $10 or $20? Please comment in the comments and let me know what you think. We'll find out how much you get, Bud, from them, okay? So all I've set up right now is just the background light. I know I want some depth or separation from him in the background, so I'm gonna go ahead and shoot at around f2, okay? This is just stylistic preference. I'm also gonna set my shutter speed to 1/200, so we don't need to use high-speed sync or anything, and I'll put my ISO for right now just at 100 ISO. I'm gonna set my background lights to 6 power, which is, I believe, like around 1/16. I'm sure if I got that wrong, Viet will correct it on the video. But from here, I'm just gonna take a test shot. Go ahead and hold the ball with your right hand. And I'm at 1/200 f2 and ISO 100. We're gonna go ahead and just take a little test shot. I don't mind going full length for this test shot, just so we can see what the light is doing on all sides. Let's go ahead and pop an image. Okay, awesome. So I'm looking at this, and the first thing that I'm thinking is everything looks good. I wanna make sure that the lights are straight, they look even, they look good, and it looks like the separation is good between them. So that's kind of the first area you might spend a little bit of time, is just kind of making sure your background lights are perfectly arranged, right? The next thing I'm going is, I think I want to actually raise my ISO to 200 ISO. And you might be wondering, well, like, we already know why I'm shooting at f2, because I do want a little bit of separation and a little bit of depth in the shot. Why though am I raising ISO rather than just raising the flash power? Usually when I'm shooting shots like this and I'm in the studio, I like to keep my flashes at a lower power setting. If I can bump my ISO a bit, this gives me lower flash power and better recycle times overall. You know, going up 1 stop is not gonna make a huge difference right now in the flashes, but it's just kind of a tendency that I have and how I like to shoot. So I'm gonna go ahead and take another shot, same composition, same everything. Let's go ahead and take a look. And you'll notice that because I also have a black backdrop up, that we don't see really any of the background. So I'm gonna shoot a frame that's a little bit wider, just so you can see why I'm kind of shooting over a black background. As I get kind of more of the scene, because I'm in an area right now that has a lot of white walls, I'm naturally getting a lot of reflective light going back. So if it weren't for the black backdrop, I wouldn't be able to kind of black out the background entirely. If you're shooting in a darker area or where you don't have white walls, you wouldn't necessarily need that backdrop at all because you'd have just enough, you know, if you had more distance, anything, you'd be okay. So let's go to step 3. Let's go ahead and set up our main light. For the main light, I have another FJ400. So this is a total of a 3 light setup. On this one is the 1x4 softbox. And what I probably would do as well if you wanted a little bit more light control is I would add a grid to this, but you'll notice from the front side, there is no grid at all. So we're gonna be okay for this setup, but if you wanted a bit more light control, put a grid onto this guy. Now those were both set to group B. This one's gonna be group A. So my main light will be group A. Group B is 2 lights that are both on the same grouping because I want them to both be at the same exact power setting, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and take a test shot with that light on now. And I'll keep it wide just so again, you guys can see what happens with the background as we light this. Now, what's happening right now is that my main light is way too bright. I think it was at 6. We're gonna bring it down to a 3 and then give it another pop. There, we're getting much closer. There we go. Okay, so 100 ISO is pretty solid. One trick that I like to use here is just a little bit of a highlight alert to make sure that only the lights themselves, the Pro Light mods, are kind of blown out and we don't have anything blown on our subject. This looks fantastic. So my composition is actually gonna be a bit tighter. So when I wanna go full length, I'm gonna step back a little bit more and I'm gonna zoom in. So the full length composition, I'm gonna get low and kind of shoot up on Ethan like this. Okay, and I can go a little bit forward. So I'm gonna shoot up on Ethan like this, and that'll be kind of the full length composition. By getting low, I can frame him wherever I want. So his head can kind of be above the lights if I want to, or I can go a little bit higher, kind of match the lights there. I can also go closer and I can get tighter compositions. So I can also go like right up here and get close-up compositions too, just like that, okay? Now we're not in a final pose or anything yet. I'm gonna do one last thing because I want you to be able to see what it does to the overall scene. We're actually gonna kick a bit of fog into this. And one last thing, by the way, step 3 was putting up the main, right? You will notice that right here, I'm just using a little bit of a bounce. This could be anything. Right now I just grabbed a V flat because it's what's convenient for us, but you can put just a white reflector here, anything that bounces a little bit of light back to our subject, okay? Just to kind of fill the shadows a bit. The last piece of this is this guy. This is an old Roscoe Mini fog machine. I'm sure they have fog machines now that are much smaller. You could also use atmosphere aerosol, whatever you'd like. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually put some fog down behind Ethan. See, I don't want the fog to kind of go too far in front. If it gets in front of him, it's gonna really block out the light source and create kind of low contrast. And if you're wondering, there's about maybe 5 to 6 feet between Ethan and these background softboxes. Now with the fog in place, what this is basically gonna do is now we're gonna get that sort of blooming effect from these lights. So where you might have some haze in like a stadium and the lights kind of bloom, we're gonna get that exact look here. So let's go ahead, come back to the camera. Let's take a bit of a shot. One of the things that I like to do, you're gonna see, I'm gonna pop a shot right now. We're probably not gonna like it as much as what we will in a minute when the fog starts to kind of settle a bit. Right there, bud. Yeah, so I like it, but we have just a bit too much fog at the moment. So as the fog settles, we're gonna get the exact kind of look that we wanna go for. All right, it's dissipated a bit. We're basically good to go. What I'm gonna do now, bud, is I'm gonna have you bring your chin towards that light a little bit. There we go. We're gonna start with just a little kind of like confident smile looking at the camera. There you go. I love that. And with him angled towards the light, that looks absolutely fantastic. Okay, we're gonna go full length. And then after I get this, I'm gonna put you in action, dude. Boom. That looks rad. I love that. All right, dude, you're gonna do your crossover. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. This is the exact setup that we use to create all the images that you see here. So very versatile. It's a 3-light setup. We're gonna link up all the gear that we use in the description of the video. And yeah, that's it for us. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let us know in the comments what you think. If you have any questions, I read every single comment. I get a lot of ideas for future videos from each of you. And I do my best to also respond to all of your questions. Oh yeah, and let me know how much you should get paid. If they say nothing, it's not my fault.
Please.
Please. Please. And with that,